What time is it?
So obviously we are going from least cringe to most cringe, and sadly for the die-hard fans, you gotta at least put this guy somewhere. Fortunately, I am one of those die-hard fans and Tony is sitting at the least cringe. I know there are jokes around this dude already, but I can't think of another man that is quite literally fighting demons in his head. But for the weak beta males, he fights them internally, and that's why his mind is quite occupied and he says the most random shit.
This is a rat race, but I'm no rat. I'm a fucking turtle. Ninja turtle. So which one's your favorite? I like Michelangelo.
But in all seriousness, Tony is the most lovable, unique fighter in the UFC, to the point where he does become cringy. But it's the most lovable cringiness. And then it becomes despair. This one speaks for itself. If anything, it was the UFC's fault. Mike Perry was the one who saved them from being cringe. Mike Perry wanted quote-unquote Halo on his walkout music. Yes, that iconic theme. I don't know who else could mistake it for anything else, but here we are. So he walks out to Halo by Beyonce, and Mike does the most Mike Perryest thing and goes along with it.
I thought over Mickey Gall in June inside this very building.
What the show? A well-rounded skill set. Hey, this was interesting music by Mike Perry in my ear. And Mike goes, what is this song? They put on the wrong song.
Literally singing the lyrics to the song, acting as if he isn't going to murder a man straight after this. Ben Rothwell. Only the true veteran fans could have witnessed this live. To be fair, it is not cringe, just moderately awkward. Submitting his opponent in round 1, you can tell Ben was holding on to a great speech.
I will have the UFC title.
You certainly continue. Can I ask you about the fighter, or you want to go out of here?
The part that was awkward was John Anik not leaving it there and letting the man play out his character exiting the octagon. John wanted a post-fight analysis from him live, and frankly, this wasn't in his script and it got a bit awkward. He's not that cringe. At this point, it's golden moments. I think he's just really stupid. The community almost calls him the early Adesanya, making a long quote that just ends up not hitting.
Well, you know what? Actually, let me go ahead and find Chael Sonnen for you. I think I got him right about here. And on January 21st, Chael Sonnen is gonna get smashed, as the way I do inside the cage.
Until one day he gets sick of it, and he attacks, and he shows to these people who the fucking king of the jungle is. And this little hyena, I'm gonna eat right through him.
Honestly, Conor McGregor set a high standard of quotes and trash talk, so sometimes fighters just end up saying the most awkward things that just make you think they are just cooler if they just didn't speak.
Jeff Munson here. You like watching people get fucked for free? Watch me fuck up Mark Kerr for free on DonKingTV.com live Saturday, September 27th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. DonKingTV.com. I'm gonna fuck him up. I'm gonna fuck him up. I'm gonna put these hands right around his face and beat his ass. You watch this live for free. DonKingTV.com.
Not necessarily UFC, but I think I tackled all of early tough with this summarized video, to be honest. Early 2000s MMA was definitely a concise niche. At this point, I don't know if this video would be striked because of the violent content or the sexual content. If you're an MMA fan, you know the answer is both. This makes a great segue to one of the earliest sus moments in the UFC. And to make it better, it's Wanderlei Silva calling out Chuck Liddell.
It's a fight with the best fights in the world. For this, I'm coming here tonight because I want to fight with Chuck here. Fuck, Chuck.
You heard it loud and clear, folks. Doesn't get more intimidating than that. Just so I don't need to speak more about this erotic theme going on, here are just some highlights to tackle all of them.
Romero trying to show...
The weigh-in when he fought Carl Baker in February 2010. He kissed his opponent during the head-to-head.
Everyone talking about Pidion's the greatest guy, and yeah, you better win your fight because I'm coming on your ass, boy. I'm coming for that ass. Pause.
Just a disclaimer, I added absolutely nothing to this video. It's in its entirety, purely for your pleasure.
Wow, I love Salt Lake City.
We're sure you do, Luke. Let's take a look at everything Salt Lake has to offer. Enjoy some skiing in Park City. Whoa, sick moves, Jose.
Wow, I don't know, Utah is so beautiful.
Wow, incredible. How about this lovely weather, mate?
That's right, look at those beautiful landscapes. Perfect for a hike or a leisurely stroll around Salt Lake.
Thank you, Salt Lake City.
You're welcome, Paulo, but that's not all.
Alright, I'm here in Salt Lake City. Let's go check out some of the wildlife. Moose, sheep, bison, oh my.
And did we mention our world-famous Great Salt Lake? Perfect for a swim with family and friends. And I'm sure you've heard of our Utah Jazz. Whoa.
Incredible. And if you need to pray, you're in luck. Because we've got churches.
Wow. There's just so much to enjoy in Utah.
Here's the fight going down in Utah this Saturday.
He must be talking about UFC 278. Is there a way we can watch?
My fight on ESPN. Hey, BC. Hey, BC.
Wow. Well, that's all the time we have today, folks. Sounds like we should tune into that fight.
I just know there are some people out there that think this is cringe. And yeah, it is a bit. But for me, this is gold. When in your career do you get to green screen Jose Aldo doing a skiing emote? Exactly. I wish they did more marketing on this, but that's just me personally. Definitely better advertising than that one. I honestly don't know how these people exist. This may end up being a shitty rant video, but this is next level stupidity. I understand the lowlives who need attention and they use it for clout meeting their favorite fighter. Strange way of meeting them, but they got it at least. And then there are the trolls that actually think they can beat a professional MMA fighter. Top ranked in the UFC as well. I may be out of line, but I won't take it against the UFC fighter if he decides to kill him. Ego checking can count as legal murder, but that's just me. At least we can all agree that these are still extremely satisfying videos.
Everything is possible in your life when you believe. When you believe, everything is possible.
Just like Tony Ferguson, this guy is just lovable, even when he's doing shit like this. Okay, maybe not that much, but he is definitely not as cringe as other fighters.
Hey, Dana! Give me the fucking ball!
This man is so iconic, I think majority of the people will only recognize him if I play this clip.
The people pay pay-per-view. The people pay, the people pay. The people pay because the people want to say, because I know the people pay.
If the UFC truly loves the fans, they would make the commentary team Joe Rogan, Yoel Romeo, and Stipe Miocic. I think Romeo has that genuine humor about him where his trash talk just ends up being cute, but can also beat the shit out of you. If Romeo was a native English speaker with a normal accent, people could imagine his words coming across as cringe, so we kinda dodged a good bullet there.
I should have knocked him out. Brazil, you're a dog. All you filthy animals suck. I got one thing to say. Tyrone Woodley, I'm coming for you. If you don't answer the front door, I'm gonna knock it in and I'm gonna take what's mine. That one to it, Bill.
This, on the other hand, is another special case. He didn't pioneer this act of being the heel of the UFC, and surprisingly, he does have the skills to back it up. But veteran fans can just see right through the act because of his backstory. He was basically labeled a Bilal Muhammad before his new personality, and he is genuinely a great guy. Just seeing him push too hard with this new persona just comes off as cringe now, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we can only blame ourselves for diving into drama which just happens to be a combat sport at the same time. Out of all the tough moments, this has a special place in my heart. Definitely when you are watching it in its entirety and seeing this part just makes you burst out laughing.
Because you're irrelevant after
Oh,
this.
now you're trying to be cool.
Yeah. I used to guys
cool.
like you in high school.
I knew you're...
It does make you question that I'm watching a really weird bootleg dating show. He's placed tier 2 because karma got him for his cringe, and I don't want to kick someone while he's down. Normally his trash talk is good, but sometimes it plays off like, is he playing a persona like Kobe?
Better put your boy down. Look, I never had to chase pussy in my life. On December 30th, I ain't doing it. I don't have to. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We'll see. Well, I think the view.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching a middle school brawl right now. Not a professional middle school brawl.
Do something then.
Cejudo is definitely a high-tier cringe person, but the fact that he owns it and plays along makes me respect him. There are definitely times where I just look at some imaginary camera in my room and do the most cringe-inducing face because of how bad it is.
This is the only way Triple C does it, right? Right, people? Yeah. 2 barbers at the same time. I got time to mess around. Floyd Mayweather, all you wanna be kingpins. You guys can all do me a favor and bend the knee to Triple C and KG.
Triple C! Triple C! Look what I got. I got some beads. I got a gold medal.
You got a gold medal? Only Triple C has gold. All you kids can do me a favor. You guys can all bend the knee to Triple C.
But in the most broadest perspective, if Cejudo was to retire, I would definitely miss the cringy face-offs. Kevin Holland is mostly loved by the community. The only main cringe thing overall about him is his dedication to the sport. I personally don't have a problem with Kevin Holland, but a majority of fans could see the massive potential he holds and could possibly be at top 5 in welterweight or middleweight. His carefree nature is too carefree, and fans feel like if he trained harder and focused on being the champion, he could actually achieve it. But let's be real, bro just wants to get paid. He literally said it. But then on the other hand, this prime Kevin Holland had this imaginary beef with Adesanya. It's more confusing than cringe, but it's like understandable cringe.
Could knock you out.
Yes, you are, boy. You my boy.
And I don't think he tapped out because he's still on the floor.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me, boy. Don't play with me, boy.
Oh, Kevin's going at Adesanya here.
I'm about to do that. It's me and you, boy.
I'm just one of those guys that you just really don't want to play with too much, right? Yesterday in the parking lot, he stuck his hand out and said, "Mr. Holland," and wanted to shake my hand. I'm cool with that. I'm gonna be respectful. As I was walking away from that situation though, he says, "I'm the guy he was talking about." What the f are you talking about me for? You're the champ, and I'm just some fucking guy coming up the ranks. But then when I come out the tent and the security guard asks me, when am I gonna fight Stylebender? All of a sudden you're big and bad when the security's around. Lands the freaking head kick. He kind of like makes some type of little animation sound. You know the shit that Stylebender does. So I pointed at him. Then I went over there to proceed on the fight. Fight's over, and I look over at him. But the only thing I wanted to say was, what the f you want to do now? But he don't want to do nothing.
We have no idea what's going on with Kevin's unpredictable head, and to be honest, we kind of vibe with it now. This one is more of a rare one instead of something cringy, mostly the reason being that the GOAT Bruce Buffer is here, but some other official UFC commercials, or more like UFC fighters and staff related promotions can age a little like milk. Anyway, I'm not too sure about the copyright on this one particularly, but my amazing YouTube commentary skills can give you the most insightful walkthrough on this.
Last night was so amazing.
Hell yeah, it was.
Okay, let's just stop right there. Shadow boxing after the first round is the biggest dick move you can do. No pun intended, I think.
What's up, Bruce?
You going for round number 2?
You know it.
Brought to you by Blue Chew. Chew it and do it!
And I'm still not sure what Blue Chew is, but I'm pretty sure it's for erectile dysfunction. So, to be fair, it's good marketing for the typical UFC fan.
Hi, I'm John Jones of the UFC. A lot of people think us fighters are like a different breed. But really, I'm just an average guy who loves to spend time at the park with my kids. And 3, 2, 1.
Okay, there are levels to this now. Words can't even describe how poorly aged this is. I think we reached a point where UFC fighters, the fact they are independent contractors, we just wait for the superstars to take a John Jones villain arc and basically look back at the time where society thought they were normal.
Flex Collection by Van Heusen. With Flex Collar, Flex Waist, and all over Flex Fabric. Available at Kohl's. Only by Van Heusen. You're welcome.
This is mostly awkward, but if the now super famous Joe Rogan were to do it today, it would just be a funny meme. So more than 10 years ago, although still charismatic, Joe Rogan completely botched this host job at UFC Live at Fox. I mean, he was having a super off day. Him just reading shit out the prompter was still hard for him. And the most iconic scene, his mix-up of the two fighters.
UFC Hall of Famer Chuck Liddell. UFC lightweight champion Frankie Edgar, and UFC welterweight champion George St. Pierre. Ooh. We got that one wrong. Switch seats.
Yep, that is the correct reaction, GSP. To be fair, Joe did state he does not give a shit about Fox and stopped working for them. So if this is a nice way for him to get fired for work he doesn't want to do, and also find a way for Fox to stop nagging him to work, then it's actually a smart move. I'm not gonna lie, matchmakers have it a bit hard when deciding what to do after a fight. You have your normal rematches when a good fight ends extremely evenly. You have a rematch when a fighter rebounds for a title really fast. But then you get the hard ones, like a freak injury. Like, what do? The other fighter wins, but does he really rank up? It's a bit vague. And then you get this confusing shit. Overeem letting go of a guillotine and then getting knocked the fuck out in round 1. Seems simple on paper, but it's the most believable way to negotiate a title rematch while getting slept. He said he clearly felt a tap, but Joe Rogan TKO's Overeem, showing him 3 replays, telling millions of viewers live he's a pathological liar. Also, I find it funny that the man with the smaller MMA record and knocked the other guy out is the one with the most brain damage. Okay, I'm starting to realize how some MMA fans slowly tailor towards one championship now. Many years ago, this was peak content, but looking back and watching 2 drunk amateur fighters killing brain cells is a little, non-martial arts like.
Do it!
This could be great for shadowing because Tom Lawler basically failed a USADA test later on in his career. Alright, this stuff is so content dense, I'm kinda questioning my life decisions while making this video. Mario Yamasaki is definitely someone who deserves to be in this Iceberg video. Having controversial reffing skills back to back, Dana White finally confirms he's never setting foot again back in the UFC after that Shevchenko and Priscilla fight.
The way I see it, I allowed Pedrita to be a warrior and keep fighting. I could have stopped the fight in the second crucifix or in the mount, but she was moving at all times. I also recognize I should have stopped it on the first tap of the rear naked choke, and I only stopped a few seconds later. As for other people's opinions, they, again, have their right to issue them.
Bro, her name is called the Zombie Girl. If there was to be one woman fighter in the world that could still move after being beaten to death, it would be her, and would need a competent ref to stop the fight.
For the winner, by unanimous decision, Nyan Shawana.
That's the wrong fighter, that's the wrong...
Yes, congratulations to Yan Xiaonan.
Jesus, that was painful for me. I don't know what the whole technical issue was. The description says he announced a split decision win when the fighter was declared a majority draw. 2 judges scored the fight a draw and 1 scored it in favor of Tyron Woodley. The title is retained by the champ. So either Bruce Buffer didn't read and math properly, or the judges did a last-second change. Either way, Woodley still wears the belt. This could honestly be mentioned in any other live promotion and not just the UFC, but there are just crowd cams where it's just straight up awkward. What is Luke Rockhold doing? What the hell is that? Don't just keep pointing on the camera on Chuck. Let the man vibe out on coke and peace. Now we are diving into the real cringe to the point it needs to delve into a singular person. I think by unanimous decision from the community, we all have our gripes surrounding this dude. Ariel Helwani is essentially that guy that wants to pull out a controversial sentence out of you so it can headline an article. It makes it worse because there are a lot of famous UFC fighters who don't have English as their first language, but this isn't a video around him. This is just a highlight video around him, so it's different. There are lots of beef throughout UFC history that relates to Helwani, but I like to dive into his 2023 cringe. So it actually feels like an Iceberg video, and not some dumb cunt in his pajamas scamming you for watch time revenue. Also, make sure to like and subscribe for. So he has this beef with Jamal Hill, the ex-light heavyweight champion, and I think we can all agree we are on Hill's side. There are sprinkles of Yuri and Hill beef, but that's understandable because they are both contenders, so they are basically obligated to murder each other in the future.
What is the show?
Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah.
This is the cartoon stuff.
I wouldn't say
anime.
cartoon.
Sorry,
anime.
Is that insulting? Anime too?
Yeah, it's an anime. Yeah.
And is it for kids as well, or is it?
So there's Naruto.
Okay, and this is like what you choose to watch.
Yeah, we're watching it right now.
Wow.
I don't understand why this guy is so up in Max's grill like that. Bro, let the man enjoy his fucking show! I think Israel Adesanya and cringe go synonymously at this point.
You know, steel, like kicking steel, or you hit him and he doesn't fall. I'll touch him enough times, and eventually he'll crumble like the Twin Towers.
He's basically Cejudo, but doesn't want to admit it yet.
Styles, just call me Styles. I'm the guy, the hot chick in the bar.
Honestly, there are a lot of casual fans who think his anime persona is what makes him cringe. At this point in 2023, it's what made him marketable and more celebrity-like.
Jared Cannonier gets it done against Robert Whittaker. I want him next. It'll be an honor. We'll do that. Naruto and Sasuke. He knows.
Like, imagine if Cannonier was the champion for 3 years. I mean, it would be cool, but like, you know. Anyway, Izzy's recent antics kind of make you wish that we want that weeb 2019 Izzy back. Getting DUI arrests, controversial trash talk, and begging to not get trash talked himself. Bro literally got lost in the sauce.
For me, Israel came over and was saying some stuff to you right after they wrapped the belt around you. Do you remember what he told you?
It was strange, you guys. It was strange. He was like talking. I think he was mad that I made from his dog. I'm not even joking. Is that what it was? He was mad that I made from his dog. I'm like, what the is going on here, man? Like, are we having this conversation? Like, yeah, I truly was mad. Yeah, I don't know. Izzy, I'm sorry.
The Pereira rivalry isn't 3-1 anymore. You gotta add 1 for him beating Jan, add 1 for beating Sean Strickland, and add 1 for alcohol abuse. Honestly, I love Izzy. One reason he's falling apart is that he knows how fragile the loyalty the UFC fanbase is. So I can't give him too much shit. Dudes just act weird when they're in front of women.
You know, and that's like a big gift from me.
I wish everyone was that easy to please, man.
Well, you know what? I think those people are not living the moment. Because, your presence is amazing. The attention you pay to the moment, like, makes my life like so much more fun right now.
This is getting really creepy for me, you two. I'm gonna step over here.
You're the one that put me in this interview. This creepy interview was you're doing. You're sticking me with this guy and you'll leave me alone. You're gonna ditch me out.
Life.
That's right.
Meaning at this point. Whoa, bro. You know, this is a family.
This is some heavy interview, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right on. I'm gonna get ready for food.
Caesar, peace out.
Are you uncomfortable with it?
I got uncomfortable all of a sudden.
You are for sure. Now, are you offended at all by guys like me that say, listen, she's a great fighter, take nothing away from her skill, but if she wasn't attractive, nobody would give a damn?
No, I'm not offended at all. Why do you think I, do things like the ESPN body issue and other things like that? Because I'm aware that, that there's such thing as being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Hot.
No, I mean...
I'm just putting it out there.
Idealistic. There's a difference between idealistic and realistic, and I think that I have to be a little realistic first before we can really get that ideal that everyone's aiming for.
To me, I compare you to the Royce Gracie of women's MMA. Do you kind of see yourself that way? Are you looking to build the sport like Royce did, or is it more for a means to your own ends?
No, I'm looking to build the sport. I'm looking for my own ends as well. Multitasking. Women are good at it.
We'll all be looking at your ends for a while, to be honest with you. Jimmy, more than anybody. You know what? I'm not going to make a pick in this fight. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get out my old DVD of Wild Things. I'm going to watch Nev Campbell fight Denise Richards. Because that's the kind of chick fight I like. That's right, I said it.
Classy dude.
That's right, I said it, and it's still the kind of chick fight I'd like to see. Well, if you want to put a third woman in there, I got no problem with that. You're not offended by that, are you?
No, I understand how you'd be a male chauvinist pig because, you know, hair envy is hard to live with.
Is that a wig you're wearing? By the way, it's not being a male chauvinist pig. I appreciate that you guys are great athletes, great fighters. I and the far majority of America don't want to see women fight unless they're beautiful. You could fight Miesha Tate 20 times a year, and I would consider watching it.
See, that's a really good way to say it. Why couldn't you say it tactfully the first time?
They don't pay me to be tactful here.
That explains a lot.
I mean, this doesn't mean Rousey doesn't have her own doses of cringe. Just look at her acting career in Mortal Kombat 11.
Judging and all that matters is what it sounds like. Feels so good to say. Say it loud, it feels great.
Yeah. At least it's not as bad as Megan Fox. At least Ronda tried to act.
If you need. Serena's right. Because of Quan Chi's magic, my realm's people are no longer poisoned by sunlight. We've finally escaped the shadows.
Rest assured, the spells you will receive will bring down.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know too much about Joe Rogan, but what the heck was his deal with this one? Is he always like this?
Dana, when you get a chance to watch Ronda Rousey fight, it's not just a fight at this point. It's a cultural spectacle. It doesn't just seem like a fight. It seems like some sort of historical event that you have the privilege of watching live. She's such a unique athlete and such a unique person. As she's walking to the octagon, I mean, it might look like people are smacking her in the head. I think they're just trying to touch her. I mean, she's not a once in a lifetime. She's once ever. Yeah, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And to call her fights, to be able to call her fights is, I don't use that word lightly at all. It is a real honor. It's an honor to call your fights. It really is. You're the best ever. You're just a true once-in-a-lifetime human being.
Most of the community didn't really like this. I don't have personal details on my end to say more, but you could see this as cringe, or you don't. Although I definitely understand Joe Rogan crying about the roses moment though.
Fuck The Rock too, man. That motherfucker over here playing me. See him over here smiling with Masvidal. Should have Mike Tyson handing out a belt if anybody. Mike Tyson should have been here anyway. He's the baddest man on the planet, right? He should have been the one. He picked another side so he could get it too. He could get his ass whipped too.
The fact that we have a BMF bout is already in itself a bit stupid. Trust the UFC to be the only promotion to do something like this, instead of, you know, a special rules one-off match for better non-championship fight marketing.
Project Rock is proud to be the official footwear of UFC.
With this one?
These shoes fucking suck. Look at these shoes. They made me put this shit on.
These poor souls. I was going to say these guys just needed to do the deed to pay rent, but knowing the UFC, they found a way in their fight contract that this is an obligatory task they need to do for free.
Dude's a legend of the sport, whether he's in it or not.
Wait, Kevin Holland, say that again. Say that again, but slowly.
Dude's a legend of the sport, whether he's in it or not.
He's a what in the what? Whether he's in it or not? They also have to wear the shoes too, with nothing added to their fight salary. UFC, I'll be your marketing project manager for this one. If you want a mascot who can promote UFC branded shoes, it's gotta be Tai Tuivasa, bro. This man finds a way to make shoeies motivational, and you can promote Modelo at the same time. Two birds with one stoner. No words, I'm just gonna let this one speak for itself.
To get prepared to take somebody's life in this cage. I'm not trying to beat him, I'm not trying to win by a decision or a point. I'm literally gonna try to take this man's life.
I eat a whole, I don't take piece by piece.
The more you talk, the bigger ass you're gonna look on July 7th. That's all I gotta say.
I don't chew on nothing the whole time.
Did your mom have sex with her brother to have you, or was it your cousin or something? Because you're the most inbred piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. Did your mom fuck her brother or your sister's brother or somebody? Like, who in the family had sex with each other to have you? When you break me, we'll see if your mom had sex with her brother. Or was it like your grandmother that had sex?
Yeah, this one hurt me as well. I already used my silent card for the last entry, so I kinda need to talk about this one. Molly McCann, or however you want to pronounce her, to be fair, there is a bit of bandwagon hate because of her association with Patty, but this one still takes the cake. I know it's hard to be humble when you just got a strong finish and you are pumped with adrenaline, but carrying a UFC bout around while still being unranked is still disgusting. But yeah, she got ego chicked real bad, but getting 2 first-round finishes by other unranked fighters? Probably the last time we ever see Molly again. I honestly don't hate her for it. It's definitely cringe, but she can redeem herself if she pulls through being a better fighter in the future.
Any one of these fools can get it. Any one of them.
I like Dustin. I think he's a good fighter. He's even a great fighter, you know, but great is still levels below me.
He's a great fighter. I take nothing away from him. He's a great fighter. But even great's not enough when it comes to me.
I need to see active. I need to see activity.
They can all get it. They need to show me some activity. Show me some activity.
Yeah, it's red panty night when you decide to fight me, yeah? Back at home with your wife.
I have what everybody wants. Yeah. You know, it's green panty night when you fight me.
First of all, can you even read?
I think Adesanya just overshadowed Usman's cringe, so people kinda overlook it. People give Aljamain shit for being a bullshit champion, but Usman is kinda up there as well with his fake eye pokes and groin shots. Not to that extent, but I think he literally admitted to one right here though.
It wasn't a nut shot, and I got 5 minutes. It grazed my cup. That's true. And of course, as a man, when your cup gets grazed, you anticipate what's coming after that pain. And I was anticipating the pain, and then after about 30 seconds, you guys can go back and watch the video. Literally about 30 seconds, I'm like, yeah, that pain's not coming. Let's scrap. Let's go.
Yeah, I can't hate him too much because he did get humbled by the sexiest man alive and probably had the biggest downfall in UFC welterweight history. Before his dethrone, thinking about a boxing fight with Canelo and a face-off anticipating a light heavyweight debut? Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But now we don't even talk about him anymore. We think he's just top 5 welterweight at best now because he lost the immediate rematch to the current champion. That's how short-lived MMA careers are. Oh yet, speaking of short-lived, I really hope this doesn't age bad, but it's an underlying suspicion. Sean O'Malley is definitely one of the most impressionable people in the UFC right now. And the UFC are definitely pushing it too, catering towards a SoundCloud rapper look and an amazing stand-up fighting skill to back it up. That's the textbook definition of success in the UFC. One thing the community really doesn't agree on is his open relationship with his wife. To have a child and wife, but be in a relationship is crazy. But even worse, he closed it for his wife to do the open relationship deeds. So he basically found a way to cheat and have one-night stands with many women while his wife cannot, and she needs to look after their only child. Yep. I give it 4 years for the champion dethrone and the divorce. Everyone likes Chuck Liddell, right? True veteran of the sport and always steals the show with the crowd cams. One thing he stole the show for, in a bad way, was his intro at UFC 43. Spoiler warning, he got knocked the fuck out for this. This gives the biggest early 2000 vibes ever, and it's so cringe-inducing, it's actually quite fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am Buzz, from the notorious Tap Out crew. Is it me, or is it getting cold in here? Who's in the house? The Iceman's in the house. I'm talking about Chuck Liddell. A professional killer. An assassin.
We all know this was meant to hype up and make Iceman look scary, but it just looks like a Crash Bandicoot intro for the PS1.
Professional killer. An assassin. Aggressive. Intolerant. Unrelenting. Tenacious. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? to step to the Iceman, you're gonna get knocked out.
I'm kinda glad they shut off this kind of stuff while evolving the promotion. I could not even imagine what the 2010s would be like. From once extremely liked and looking undefeatable to just some guy we wish gets humbled in the future. Let's start off with the derail of his obvious loss against Jared Gordon. I know MMA math does not add up, but here is a small comparison of Charles Oliveira fighting Jared Gordon when he was coming up. I scored a Gordon winning 2 rounds and should be a unanimous decision for him, but of course, the sleazy judges give it to Paddy. I scored a Gordon winning 2 rounds and should be a unanimous decision for him, but of course, the sleazy judges give it to Paddy. Not only that, he gave his cringy interview poking fun of his beef with Ariel Helwani, which is a totally different story in itself. Then when he shared his game plan why his fight was so shit, he said he wanted to cruise the last round because he knew he won.
I won the first 2 rounds and then coasted in the third. I knew I was 2 rounds up, so I didn't want to do nothing dangerous and risk losing the fight. I knew for a fact I won the first 2 rounds pretty easily.
But Dana, who supports Paddy, gave a different story.
It's like the Paddy Pimblett fight. It's like Gordon had a horrible game plan going into that 3rd round. You think you won the first 2 rounds?
We all know the corruption going around, but at least make it not obvious. Also, sometimes he just ends up being cringy when it seems like he's about to drop something iconic. Yeah, this type of cringe isn't something you want to bring up with friends because it's just not that fun.
Has it been difficult being around Paddy backstage?
I haven't seen him, lad. I haven't seen him all week. The UFC have kept us apart.
When he see me coming,
because you know, when I saw him last time, he got an hand sanitizer bottle bounced off his foot.
I don't understand you or anything. Back in the flouty, mouthy, like what?
Hand sanitizer, boy!
Fuck you, fucking Russian. Yeah. You wanna
talk to me? No one even knows you by your name, lad. You're known as hand sanitizer, boy. You little mongrel.
Where do I begin? To be fair, it's not that cringe, only because it has a happy ending with the girlfriend accepting the proposal. Please don't let this be a trend. We are just on the edge of a cringe disaster. One more proposal during a live UFC event could be the end of all of us, and we will die from secondhand embarrassment. Either A dumb fighter proposes before the fight and then gets knocked the fuck out, or B, she says no in front of millions of people. Okay, I don't even want to indulge in the thought. Let's move on quickly. Now, this is what happens when people do take it too far. I would say celebrations in general can be a blessing or curse. The blessing part is when you are a rising fighter, sometimes your celebration is what makes you an icon. The bad part is sometimes you have no idea how it's going to be received. Oh, I'm just being over dramatic. You just think anything is cringe. Well, there you go. Literally worst case scenario just happened. I won't go too long because I think some people would be eating during this video, so I'll keep it very short and simple. There was an accident in the octagon. Freak accident? Debatable, but there was just a fighter's leftovers that was spilled because of the strain and stress the body goes through with grappling. I'll just leave it there. Also, the fighters stated they don't feel too embarrassed about the accident, so I kind of respect them for owning up for it.
What was going on with the t-shirt with Jeff Neal? He caused quite a storm over there, obviously. He didn't like that. He ends up pulling out of the fight. But listen, man, and that's why you got Neil Magny.
Look, I've just made it blatantly obvious to the world. T-shirts win fights. Mind games win fights. Jeff Neal pulled out of this fight because of a t-shirt. I did my job. I know exactly what would happen when he stepped into that octagon with me. I would have absolutely manhandled and mauled him. He's right to do what he's doing. He's okay. It's okay to be a coward.
There's a lot to break down with this guy. You can like him if you want to, but you can definitely say he's pretty cringe. He's that guy you support, but then he takes it too far, and then you just support the other guy, and then he looks like a clown. He goes from acting normal to just randomly becoming a dick. He suggests that he is carrying the card UFC 292, and people are only showing up for him. The fight against Neil Magny, the last minute fighter, went to decision against a nearly retired man. The same card where there was a new MMA female record, And the finishing KO that made Sean O'Malley champion? That same card? I see. So he's a bit delusional. Okay, not too crazy, right? He began shit-talking the original opponent for 292, Jeff Neal, in the most weirdest way possible. He prints out his mugshot on a t-shirt. I can't think of a more vulnerable point of life than that. Trying to get a rise out of him. Kinda like Conor against Aldo, except bootleg. Well, speaking of bootleg, he actually tried to sell it off as merch too. And he acts the same to the last minute replacement fighter. Why would you do that? Everyone knows you're gonna win, so why are you just starting shit for no reason? Oh well, there's a small chance he can be redeemed. He hasn't fallen down to the deep pits of unlikability yet. Inspiration is definitely a great thing. It motivates you to put in 100% effort. But sometimes, you gotta have a little bit of common sense. Maurice O'Dorf copies everything about Conor McGregor until he gets humbled. Honestly, I respect his commitment on copying him. Down to the southpaw stance, the karate stance, and the hand fighting to gauge distance. He even tried to copy the exact counter left hook that slept Jose Aldo. But unfortunately, spoiler alert, he's not good. Our opponent probably knew it was coming because of all the other Conor McGregor movements, so he fakes a rare punch and goes for a lunging lead overhand, which was enough to knock him down and put him to sleep with a kick. I only find this one cringy solely for the fact he didn't fully commit to the choreography. I'm pretty sure he was a bit brain damaged while doing this, but he was just shooting arrows like Izzy, then realized he did it like 5 times and was like, wait, what am I doing? And then became normal after that. The Izzy celebration made sense because he became the hunter during that fight when it was normally Pereira's theme. So getting shot down by arrows for no reason as a celebration, and the only reason is to pay homage to Izzy, it's a bit weird. Like, give your own fight its own identity and yourself some identity and pay tribute to Izzy in a more creative way that still makes it you, you know? Or maybe I should just shut the fuck up because I'm not a fighter and I would probably just scream like a fucking frog if I celebrated. So I wouldn't call this the cringiest thing looking back on it, but it's still something I could tell a majority of people may not like. And let's be honest, it may age well, it may not, but we will probably only know Onama for this fight, and that's it, unfortunately.
And these guys just flapping gums at each other any chance they get. The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. The official protein snack.
Okay, this one. Okay, this one's just funny as fuck.
Nothing doing there for Sanchez. Left.
We are on the deepest end of the iceberg, so I kind of need to make the entry specific so it makes it look like I know my shit. So TJ Dillashaw, like him or not, has displayed some very high levels of cringe. Stuff like this.
If you don't want to take off the plane here in Las Vegas, we'll be happy to take it from you. We'll be on the ground shortly. Again, please remain seated for the short duration of this flight. For those people in the last 5 rows that don't know what seated means, that means put your butt in the cushion.
You got the number 4?
It's Tuesday, arrival day. Checked in with the UFC, flew in from Sacramento.
Yeah, the sport of MMA is still trying to get normalized because it's seen as more brutal and not culturally accepting as boxing yet. So stuff like this kind of makes me pretend I don't know what MMA is. This is what happens when you use your fighter status into the dating world. I'm obviously joking, these are too hard to watch.
Boyfriend or no boyfriend?
Yes, boyfriend.
I let a girl come on top every once in a while.
You're bad. You're bad.
What are you talking about?
No. Okay. No, you don't want to see the picture. 2 more questions.
Don't be shy.
This is
Even a black part? What other part are you?
I'm Jamaican, black and white.
She's just making me horny.
Think long and hard about this one. I'm gonna take Megan.
I love it.
not an option, but okay.
Whoa!
Holy!
Tanya Evinger.
I don't know if Laura's husband's going to like that.
Does it big.
Especially when you are actually engaged in an interview and some fighters just release their monkey brain side out for a split second. To be fair, Masvidal plays it off the best, but we all know it's a bit of a hard watch. And this entry is just a gateway to the actual endgame cringe. I think some old fans definitely know what's coming next. Luke Rockhold is definitely a legend in my books in his UFC career, and with one of the best retirement fights, battling out with the number 6 ranked middleweight at the time, Paulo Costa. But his little side quest in the dating show Millionaire Matchmaker kinda didn't age well. It was many years ago, so what was accepted then isn't really accepted now.
Hi Karen, it's Patty and Candace. So tell us how the date went with Luke. The date went great. Well, at the beginning. What's the problem? Well, he was just a bit disrespectful. He was like, Karen, do you spit or swallow? And I was just like, excuse me?
Hey girl, do you spit or swallow?
What? That's inappropriate. Well, Karen, thank you for stepping up and telling the truth. I just think he's used to those and he thinks I'll just give it up. Yeah, well, of course he is. He's a UFC dog and he needs to be curbed.
Yeah, it's definitely bad, but it was good enough for the producers to think it was good drama for their show. Now you just get executed. I think Luke Rockhold probably didn't give a shit and he was the only fighter there. So I think he played along this like reckless bad boy fighter persona. I mean, obviously still sexual harassment and illegal as fuck, but you know. And what makes it worst is the comment section in the video. These do not age well. Yeah. Now this is the juicy content you've all been waiting for. It's been a while since I've seen an actual unhinged sexual harassment that actually feels surreal. Do we actually have this stage in humanity? Obviously ages ago, the UFC was basically evolving by the day. So it was literally the lawless wild west of sport and entertainment. And my goodness, these do not age well.
I'm not even looking at those titties. I'm keeping my eyes off them.
I would say congratulations because I do think that you put on a good performance tonight, but...
Well, I have an idea for a romantic comedy starring you and me. It's about a wrestler who falls in love with a ring girl. What do you think? You in?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Am I in?
You're in. Let's do it right now. Cut.
I was told like, oh, you gotta stay away from this, you gotta stay away from that. Stop humping reporters. Black girls love me, man. I love them black girls back too, man. I be loving me some black women.
Yeah, I need a bigger one because I got a big dick. I got a big dick. And I need real big. I need it covered. And when it's covered, I need it too small.
I was the first Conor McGregor. I was Conor McNigger.
The knee, apparently, right? Yeah, you gotta do rest, ice, compression, elevation. So, you're strong. So, is my husband over there?
Oh, damn.
These are obviously the censored versions of it. Don't want the whole video to be taken down, so shout out to Combat Haven for this. Remember the good times at the start of the video where I was talking about Tony Ferguson and Yoel Romero? Fuck, good times, good times.
Ken, you don't have a nickname yet. We gotta come up with a nickname for you. Now, you look a little bit like Shrek, right? How about Kane the Shrexican, the last man? You like it?
I don't know, man. Like, why would you say that? I know it's the fight business, quoted many times by Dana White when shit just randomly hits the fan, but this is just weird. Like fans acting as if they have beef with them, and they can strike the same attention pulling that shit like their opponent. Like the Dustin Poirier fan moment. Like who does that fan think they are? You're not Conor McGregor, bro. Calm down. Also, Bilal Muhammad just being a meme for not being likable, but that doesn't mean you can just be a straight up dick to him.
George, I just bought one of your dolls, and the man yelled at me. He said it's not a doll, it's an action figure. So, my apologies. What's the most offensive thing you've ever heard of a woman doing to one of your dolls? Because I've got a few.
Actually, you don't mind to come here and show it to me? I never seen it, if you don't mind.
It's beautiful. I've done things to a George. I can't.
That is so funny. I hope you don't play Dara with it. No. Wow.
Things we could do, George.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I knew it was on the market, but I never saw one myself. Like,
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, you know, it's like I remember when I was young, I was playing with WWF figure like this. Like I had Hulk Hogan, Randy, Macho Man, and you know, I don't know, it's me that is on it. That's pretty crazy, you know.
All right, well, you can't keep it. I'm gonna need that back. Thank you.
Poor GSP. This is one of the few times where the reporter is being unprofessional and GSP needs to be the one to tone down the creepiness. So during the golden age of harassment before the Me Too movement, we still had high-class people like GSP still being a legend. When you think about the most viral official UFC content, what comes to mind? That amazing back kick of Hawking Buckley, Conor versus Khabib, or maybe even the top 10 knockouts of UFC history? Nope. It's the clip of Power Slap. I don't even want to dive deeper into the details on these quote-unquote fighters. But yeah, 350 million views. Then the second most popular, Power Slap, being at 80 million. And third, yep, Power Slap again at 41 million. But let's gauge at the virality of this first YouTube short. 350 million views. That is 7 times the number of views the Conor versus Khabib fight. To be fair, the UFC knows that Power Slap is a shit novelty fad sport, purely for entertainment, and would love to pretend it never happened if it failed. But the sad thing is, it didn't fail. So you know Dana White is literally spitting dumb shit because he can't get off the new shareholder's dick. Okay, yeah, that just shows how much I don't like Power Slap. And it sucks because we have literal UFC champions going on grappling competitions or pursuing boxing careers now, and no one seems to care about those. Fuck this shit, I'm making one championship content now. Honestly, the less you know about this one, the better. I could make this video longer talking about who Jessica I is and her whole intentions with this, but do I look like that type of YouTuber? Alright then, fuck, you got me. Jessica I is currently retired, but this was when she hyped up the fight against Shevchenko. Her fight name is called Evil, which is why she chants, "Here we go, Evil Eye." And then she gets knocked out. Some of you new fans or casuals definitely seen a TikTok or other form of short content highlighting this knockout. This was definitely the most concerned the commentator team, the ref, and even the audience was scared of Jessica's life in women's MMA history.
This fight with Poirier is trending bigger than the fight with you and Conor on pay-per-view. Imagine what you and Conor would do in another fucking fight. Just saying. I'm just saying.
You heard that right. Mr. Worldwide Dana White trying to make a miracle strike twice with Khabib versus Conor too. And hopefully Conor winning the rematch in his head. This one isn't that cringe, but a bonus clip for those who made it at the end of the video. To be honest, I don't even know how long this video is supposed to be. I think it should be around 20 minutes. Make sure to like and subscribe if the video is 20 minutes long.